Thank you for joining us today with head coach Kyle Smith, head of this week's Boeing Apple Cup series with Washington, and following the wins in the Bay Area. We will open it up to questions, beginning with Jamie Vinnick from Cougs Fan.
Morning, Coach. How's it going?
Great. How you doing, Jamie?
I'm doing great. Kind of just first thing, just any update on AD?
Progressing. Still, I think should have him Saturday. But it's had a little hand deal, and that's kind of hard to play. Got to be able to have both hands be effective. So hopefully he'll be ready for us.
Fair enough. I think for both teams going into this game, there's confidence that, things won't repeat themselves as they did last time. For you guys, unlikely that Justin, Andre, and DJ go 3 of 17 from 3. From their perspective, unlikely they get very little out of Brooks and Menafield. How do you kind of, stop those guys again the way you did last time, but then also get your 3 guards going who didn't shoot the ball that well the last time you played them?
I think both teams actually played fairly well in some regards. I think both the shot quality for both teams was pretty good. Just there's a little nerviness. Tight game, big game. They were tightened up. We couldn't get away from them. Menafield took off the next game. He had 27 against, I think the next game was Oregon, whatever, or somewhere in there. He had 27. So it'll be hard. Guarding him is not just up to us. It's a little hopeful. He's really fast, really quick. He can get in spaces. It's hard, and you just got to do your best. He's going to score some. And same with Brooks. Brooks is he's such a load because he can score from all the 3 around the rim. He get a tip dunk. He can score in the mid range. So we got to be hopeful there. And I think hopefully we get. I'd almost take the shots we had last time, but not quite. We took some bad ones actually. We contributed 3 for 17, but I thought we did a pretty good job of finding some spots. They're actually statistically one of the better defensive teams in the league and in the country. They really defend the 3. I think I got that right. I think they defend the 3 pretty well. They're good defensively, so they're a hard team to kind of crack the code on.
Back-to-back years now, you guys have really gotten hot down the stretch. You look at last year, and obviously you finished the regular season strong and go on the run of the NIT. And then this year, gonna, finish the year at least with winning 5 straight, potentially a 6 or 5 or 6. What's it going to kind of take to get that streak going a little bit earlier, get it going maybe in mid-January and kind of be able to get on that run a little earlier and kind of build that resume starting earlier on in the season and not having to do it so late?
Health. It's obvious. We're not healthy. We're healthy. We're healthy now, and it was a bummer how we start the season. Then Jabe and Andre went down early, and it takes a little while. That's what people understand. When guys come back off injury, you usually get worse before you get better, and we've been able to kind of hang in there, getting some continuity. The same was last year. FA was practicing once a week, and Deshaun had the orbital issue, and they were both missed a lot of time in that summer and fall. So when we got Mo, Deshaun, and FA kind of full tilt, we were rolling down the stretch. So it's been, that's bad luck, or look at how we're doing things. I don't know, but I just think that's overriding factor by a million miles. How
are Deshaun and Miles doing?
Great. They're both progressing and doing well, and anticipating hopefully have them both back next year. Obviously there'd be some rust on them. Just forget about the other issues, but just haven't played in a year. But just happy that the most important thing, it seems that things are going well.
Awesome. Thanks, Coach. Good luck on Thursday.
All right. Thanks, Jamie.
All right. We'll give it over to Colton Clark from the Spokesman.
Hey, Coach. I'm writing a little bit about Bamba here, and just kind of wondering from year to year, where did you see him kind of grow the most, and what were kind of the key improvements he made to his game to become the well-rounded player we're seeing right now?
Well, I think from a sophomore to junior year, he made a big jump, and he's made a jump every year. And they won't ever put a ceiling on how good he can be, because his attitude and his belief in himself, his self-esteem, his confidence is so strong, and he's willing to bet on himself and try to get better, improve. He's not afraid to make mistakes. So, but really, after sophomore year, obviously we had a few guys. Noah leaving the program was probably helped him a lot, opened the door, like a more of a pathway for him to take more of a leadership role on the court and in the locker room. And he really took off and put a lot of time in here this summer, spent, I want to say 8 weeks here this summer. He was lifting 4 times a week. He was conditioning. He was getting his shots up, playing open gym. And people, a little bit this summer was a little different. Weren't as organized on, we did more open gym situations and stuff, so the guys can kind of experiment a little bit. And he became, really shot the ball well, just really grew into confidence there. And I think that's helpful. He played against some guys from LC State and Eastern Washington, guys like that come around and go play, and I think it helped him a lot. And now he's just, been playing the bum hand for a while and kind of managed that deal. So hopefully he's getting better on its own, but he seems to be playing well, and couldn't ask for a better story and a better guy to have in your program.
How about his biggest offensive improvements? Was that just from him, like you said, getting shots up, being in the gym constantly and working on it, or did he kind of always have this game in him, just wasn't as high volume of a shooter earlier on?
No, he was a tremendous athlete and could do a lot of things out of high school. And obviously it wasn't hard for him to get to the basket, to score and draw fouls and use his athleticism, and was okay perimeter shooter, but just didn't need to shoot as much. So he quickly learned that, I'm going to have to be able to make threes to perform in that. And I've had a handful of guys that I've coached over the years, like a Patty Mills or a Matthew Dellavedova going back there, Frankie Ferrari, but he's right at the top of the list as far as his investment in being in the gym all the time, routine wise, work ethic. So he really became a good shooter. And I can't wait to see what he does with another offseason. I think he makes another jump, and what is he, 14, 15 a game, and hadn't shot the ball as well as I know he's capable of. And he'll just keep adding and improving.
And last thing on him, but could you just talk about his recruitment and how'd you first hear of him, and what sort of attracted both parties?
You know what? Obviously we were scattered around trying to just, build the program. And our mantra was get guys with great attitude, great work ethic, guys that really want to be here. And he had an interesting story. He's a New Yorker that was living in Colorado. I think Mike Plank actually had some contacts back there for his junior when he was a recruiting coordinator. So it kind of got on our radar. He was on my list of guys to see, and I actually accidentally saw him in Atlanta. And I was supposed to be watching someone else, and I caught his game. And I just looked around. There weren't many coaches there watching the Colorado Hawks. And I go, oh, yeah, that's the guy I'm supposed to watch. And he jumped out as his athleticism and strength, and just started engaging in that conversation. And he kind of, I want to say in a sense, he liked what we were saying. The best way to say it. We're like, hey, man, this is what we're about. We need guys who want to build this thing. I don't want to be chasing guys around. I want guys that want to be here and grow this. We think you have some potential to do that. And he's a good student, and he'd lived away from home. And my biggest thing then was like, hey man, Pullman's a long ways from New York. It's nothing like New York. Can you handle this? Can you handle this? And he kept on pushing and said, yeah, I got it. I want to do this. And I said, great. He's always honored his word. And that's part of the recruiting process. Like, hey, we're going to do, he never wavered as far as he had other schools recruiting him, obviously, but he kind of, he just, for whatever reason, you have to ask him. But I think it was just kind of laid it out there, and he kind of chased us down a little bit. And we're lucky.
You've been talking a lot about, playing at your best late in the season. Obviously, in this streak, I've had a couple of tough shooting nights, pushed through those. How much would you agree that, playing at your best is having the ability to, win whatever kind of game, and winning in different ways like you guys have been?
Yeah, no, we talked about our identity early in the season, trying not to be, I knew we were a team that was a happy 3-point shooting team, and those teams can be misleading because I think we won by 30 over a good team in a scrimmage, and that team's gone on to have a really good year. Obviously that, and you can later think, oh, we're going to, but there's a big variance to that. And so being able to take care of the ball and manage our defense, we're just turning into a little more of a team that we've been guarding the last 10 games really well. And a lot of that's tied to our ball handling. We're not a very conventional looking team. I call it the 4-6-6 guys standing around Mo, shoot threes, playing through Mo. And then defensively, we don't, we have to mix up little man and zone and do some switching, and been pretty smart. But this group's, like I said, they got a little synergy now, or they're close knit group. So on the court, those guys trust one another. You can see that both ends. So if we're not shooting the ball well, we still can dig deep and maybe make some plays and know what we're doing defensively, not let the dam break, so to speak, where a guy hangs his head, he makes a shot and he blows a coverage. They're pretty connected. So hopefully we can keep going.
And could you just, talk a little Apple Cup rematch? How big would it be to get the 6th win in a row with this one, and taking that kind of a streak and capping it off with a rivalry game going into the postseason?
Yeah, it's awesome. I thought, going to the Stanford game, that was a huge game. We haven't been playing well in the role. We only get that. And then we were able to hang on against Cal, and knowing that we get an opportunity to get 11th win in the league, which would be incredible. And I know it's going to be good. They got a great atmosphere. It's loud. It's kind of why you play college basketball. And I told our guys that, and they really are. They're fast. They're really fast at home. So if we can keep them down as best we can, and like I said, Minifield's been coming on, Brooks, those guys, they'll have a lot of energy, a lot of motion. It'll be a huge, huge win for our program.
More stuff about Mo, just since he's a double machine right now. What seems different about his game compared to maybe earlier in the season? Anything he's doing now that he wasn't really able to do earlier on?
He's just really growing and understanding the game. He had to go through the process where they're double him every time, and he was a bit of a turnover machine. And that's part of just growing and figuring it out and learning to play with other guys and being the focal point. He's kind of our point center, essentially, playing a lot like those NBA teams, a lot of 5-out stuff. And when we post him, and we'll play him at the top of the key. And the biggest thing is, I think since January 1, he's 36 assists, 35 turnovers. So we got him who's handling the ball that much, finding others, and with a 1-to-1 assist to turnover ratio. This, like I said, is really his 4th year playing basketball, sophomore in college, 20 years old, playing in one of the best leagues in the country against some of the best players. He's just growing, and it's the offensive end. I think he's really stepped it up, and the better he gets, he's kind of dragged everyone with him because we're playing through him so much. So I think he's ascending towards the finish line like the great ones do, and just looking forward to him, giving his best effort Thursday. And the most important thing, he's a good competitor. He wants to win, and he's a great teammate and a great leader.
Awesome. Thanks a lot. Good luck.
Any other questions for Coach? All right.